I have experienced.
And what happened? What was it?
I was working, I was the only female worker in a team of all men, and my superiors were all men, and one of the superiors all the time gave me rude comments, harassing comments about the way I dressed, about the way I looked. He was hitting, but he was not in the kind way, but rudely, because he was the kind of person that was feeling very superior. So he was thinking that I had to be under him.
Yes, I went to a law office where a lady was in charge, and she started asking me questions about whether or not I'm planning to get married and have children, and whether or not I'm in a serious relationship.
I looked for 1 year, and on many interviews that I had at that time, many employers had asked me, have I any children, am I married, and so on.
My first job, when I was working as a psychologist in a public institution, in the workplace, get some gossip about me and my colleague. He is emperor of me, and in the end of the story, I got fired.
When I found a job and I went to sign a contract, there was clause in contract that said that I need not to have kids for about 5 years, and I had to sign it.
Yes, I talked to one of the other men that worked with him, that was his colleague on the same position as him, but his colleague said, yeah, we know he's like that, and I cannot do anything about that. So you just try to see it as humor, just try to laugh at it. And in the beginning I laughed and I accepted it as humor and as jokes, but after a while I got fed up. And I just said I cannot work in this environment anymore. I cannot take these comments and things anymore, so I just resigned.
You left the company,
yes.
Right?
Well, I smiled when she asked me those questions because I recognized the discrimination, and I told her that I recognize the laws, and she smiled back and said that she only does things that are in her interests, and that laws are one thing and reality is another. So I left and I never came back.
When they asked me that question, at that time I didn't realize how serious it was, and that I can do something about that. Nowadays I see that I had mistakes and didn't do anything like said to them that's my private life, and it doesn't affect on my professional life.
I didn't do anything about it because I was afraid.
I didn't said anything to anyone about that because it is a small town and I would probably never find another job there.
Well, I think that the position of women and men in companies, especially in big companies, is very, there is no equality, because women, for example, if a woman that is good looking is going higher and higher in the company, there always talks about the way that she is going higher in the positions. if a man does it, it's just about his qualities, about he does his job very good, and about women there are always talks, especially if they're good looking. And the pay is not the same. The highest position in the companies are very rarely occupied by women, and I think that there is a huge inequality in the workplace.
Well, I believe that all power is still held by men, and there's a lot of women who are just appearing like they're having power, and really they are not making decisions, they're just doing what they're told to be done.
It's not equal because the men are in decision-making position and the women are in low levels, and especially in the public institution. In the organization and private sector, the situation is better.
I think that position of women and men are not equal in our country. Because the men often have bigger wages and have more power than women, even though they have the same level of knowledge.